G'day all, Hef here from Epic Rides and Tours Sidecar Adventures again. Spark plugs. I've slapped together a couple of vids about spark plugs, and this is the opening part for it. I've changed the spark plugs a few times on Dusty and Swampy, our U-Butte Urals, and I've found that the gap for them is 40 thousandths of an inch, and number of times I've bought a spark plug gapping tool you wouldn't believe. I had at least 3 of them, and every time I use one I promptly put it somewhere safe. Been there and done that, haven't you? Yeah, righto. So I've bought another one, and spark plug and spark plug gapping tool. So NGK spark plugs are the recommended brand for Urals and a whole load of other bikes. So my humble opinion is if they aren't the best spark plugs in the world, they ain't far off. I've never ever had one fail on me. Having said that, I've jinxed myself, haven't I? But never mind. Anyway, from the factory, the standard gap on NGK spark plugs is 28 thou, so 28 1,000ths of an inch, or 0.028, and of course that's quite a bit smaller than the 0.04 or 40 thou of an inch that Ural want you to set the gap at. And I once put that in, and they ran like absolute shite. Honestly, I pulled them back out and gapped them, put everything back together again, fired up the engine, and she ran sweet. I did that deliberately as an experiment, and yeah, it matters, okay? Gap matters, people. So I bought this lovely little spark plug gap adjuster for $1.99. I mean, why doesn't everyone have 10? Anyway, what we have around the edge here is a gradually thickening ramp. So lower numbers, thinner gap up this end, and as you turn it round clockwise you get to the thicker gaps, wider gaps. And at the top we have a sort of a chamfered edge to this hole, and that's the actual method of setting the gap. On this side, the reverse side, some would say, you've got your gaps in millimeters. So if you are that way inclined, you can set your metric gap. But me, I've used metric for most of my life. The metric system was introduced to me at school when I was 13 years old. That's 53 years, and it's an excellent system. But unfortunately, this is the one thing that I don't use metric for. It's spark plug gaps. Anyway, so what you do is you slide the ever thickening ramp into the gap between the 2 electrodes on the spark plug, and you turn until it stops. Now this one, oh my god, there's about 28 thou. How about that? Factory thickness. So pull the 2 apart and put the the electrode through the gap, and then you can use the chamfer as a lever to increase the gap. Then you put the plug back on, and yeah, we're just over 30 thou now. I probably can't read that, but I'll hold it up there anyway. So that's increased the gap, just not enough, and we'll just do another little bit. Do be gentle with these, please, folks. If you do it the wrong way, you stand a chance of snapping the electrode, or if you try to use this edge to expand the gap, what you'll find is that you are putting pressure on the central electrode, which may cause it to bend, and if it bends, it will crack the insulator that's wrapped around it. Okay, it's supposed to be white, but this is an old spark plug for the demonstration, so it's been through hell and back. Yeah. And it's time it was retired anyway. So just a little bit of very gentle persuasion. Okay, got a nice gap on that. Try again for the last time, hopefully. Yep, it's just reached the 40 thou. So if you do expand it too far, you can find a relatively hard surface, not your wife's dining table like I've got here, and you can just tap 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 and then measure to see if you've got your gap right. So yeah, hold it like that and just tap 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 on a hard surface. Okay, you'll probably find plenty of them in your workshop, your garage, or your garden shed. And that is all about the $1.99 spark plug gapping tool. Rightio. Now, this is a BP6HS. It's what's known as a hotter plug than the standard BP7HS NGK spark plug. Now, as you will appreciate, even at this relatively southern latitude, our Aussie summers can get bloody hot, and going off-road, up hills and through country that demands you run in low gear at fairly high revs, the engines can of course get pretty hot. Now, if I can get the carburetors fixed in time, we should still have some hot enough weather for me to do a little test. And the test is to put a slightly hotter plug into Swampy. Now, what do we mean by a hotter plug? Well, what it actually means is that the insulation core of the plug has a greater contact area with the metal parts, helping to distribute or what would you say, take away more heat from the engine basically. It's not going to allow the cylinder to get quite as hot as a cooler plug. Yeah, right. This is all research that I've done, and I've checked out in multiple places, including NGK's website. Now, with most brands of spark plug, including Champions and Fomoco, I think,
the hotter the plug is, the higher that number is between the P and the H. Okay. With NGK and another really obscure make, it, I don't know, shoot me down in flames, it might be auto light, but it doesn't really matter. NGK's plugs get hotter and the number gets smaller. Now, a reasonably quick chat with the ever helpful Matt at Ural HQ Australia, up in Ural on the mountain. They often go as far as a BP5HS, and depending on the results I get from this and a couple of other little experiments I want to do, I might even try the BP5s for the really hot weather we get. So yeah, currently I've got the factory recommended plugs in, which are BP7HS, and they tend to run all right, but I do feel sometimes that the engines get a bit hotter than I would like on some of the tougher bits of road that we go on. Anyway, enough chat.